All right, Lovie Smith, introduced earlier today at NRG Stadium. Besides the hilarity of the fire alarm going off at one point during this press conference when Nick Caserio was trying to answer questions, Cody, you and I were there. BK, you watched the entire thing as the Texans streamed it. Cody, what to you were the biggest takeaways from Lovie Smith addressing the media for the first time as the Texans head coach?
The biggest takeaway for me was Nick Caserio said what he had to say in regards to the Brian Flores lawsuit situation. He said it had no effect on their coaching search. That's what he needed to say. I don't necessarily believe that, but I'm sure that that is the best course of action for the Houston Texans to continue to put distance between them and the Brian Flores lawsuit. So that was the addressing of a question that we knew was coming. And then from a Lovie Smith standpoint, this guy is very clearly not David Culley. This is a guy that is very confident in his position, is confident about what he's capable of doing, very serious about what is in front of him, knows that wins need to come on the football field sooner rather than later for this organization, and believes in this organization based off of what he saw last year in the way that this organization operated, and believes in this organization going forward.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that instills a lot more confidence for game days than David Culley did.
Yeah, I think Nick Caserio said the right things. Was he telling the truth? No, but he wasn't going to lie. I mean, he had to say what he said in regards to the Brian Flores lawsuit and in regards to the entirety of the Texans coaching search. So Nick Caserio said the right things. I saw a lot of comments on social media both ways. Some people saying, oh, Casario's a great liar. And some people saying, this guy sucks at lying. For me, it's like when you have a preconceived notion that someone's lying, when you know that someone's not telling the truth, they're always going to be a bad liar because you know that they're lying. But Nick Caserio, I thought, handled the questions and his statements as well as he possibly could have given the situation. Do I believe what he said? Absolutely not. But Jake, I think he did a good job given the situation that, look, he put himself in. Like, it's his fault. The Texans are here, and he had to face the questions that he faced today. But I thought he handled that thing pretty well.
The reality is, too, the Flores lawsuit, I think big picture is a good thing for the Texans because I don't think it stopped them from hiring Brian Flores, who was the guy I wanted them to hire at the beginning of this process. It's because I think it stopped them from hiring Josh McCown.
It did.
So if that is what indeed happened here, and BK, you and I are in agreement, I think McCown was getting this job, then the Flores lawsuit popped up. They thought better of hiring the, quote, white guy with zero coaching experience. When that happened and they shifted to Lovie Smith, although Lovie Smith was not my first choice to be the head coach, I think they could have gone out there and restarted this process, and maybe Lovie could have been a candidate. At least Lovie Smith is a professional head football coach. Like, the guy is not up there learning on the job like David Culley was. The guy doesn't sound like he won a contest to become this team's head football coach. Like Lovie Smith, you could look at his resume and you could pick apart some things that he's done well, some things that haven't gone well, like his time at Illinois or his time with the Bucs. But at least the players really like him, and I think he gets it. Like, I don't think you could win a press conference and it really means much. How many press conferences has Bill Belichick won over the years? Like, it really doesn't matter. If you're good at your job, you're good at your job. But you could lose a press conference. And with the reputation the Texans currently have, and with the, just the feeling around this team and the search process that led them to Lovie Smith in the first place, I think it was important for Lovie to go up there and try and restore some credibility. And I thought this moment earlier, when he spoke directly to Texans fans, this I thought was the best thing Lovie Smith did during this entire press conference.
But the fourth phase would be the fans. Cannot play winning football without you. I have seen a day when it's tough playing at NRG Stadium, and it's our responsibility to bring the fans back and get them excited about the product we're going to put on the football field, and I guarantee you we can do that.
He's talked directly to the fans. That's important here. David Culley really couldn't do that, couldn't connect with the fans, at least with Lovie Smith. To the casual Texan fan, he's a name you know. Guy went to a Super Bowl with the Bears, went to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman as his quarterback, and the numbers back it up. Bears under Lovie Smith, 81-63. Bears since Lovie Smith left, 61-84. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you Lovie Smith is his home run hire, because it wasn't the hire I would have made if I was the Texans. But at least it feels like you finally have an adult in the room. And I thought Lovie Smith did a really good job. If you want to be optimistic, giving you something to feel optimistic about if you're a fan of the Houston Texans.
Yeah, the Texans backed into a better situation. It's not often in life where that happens, right? Sometimes you get put in a corner or backed up into a jam. You just have to do whatever you possibly can to get out of it. And sometimes that means not making the best decision for you. The Texans got backed into a corner, and they made a decision that was better for them. And the fan base feels a lot better about Lovie Smith being their head coach than they would have felt if Josh McCown was this team's head coach. And there's more fan excitement. I think some of the fan excitement is more of, oh, thank God it's not Josh versus, oh, thank God it's Lovie. But, Cody, there's definitely more fans excited and optimistic, and there will be more fans in the stands at NRG this season because Lovie Smith is the coach and not Josh McCown.
I have confidence in Lovie Smith, the Monday through Saturday coach. You hear me, guys? You hear me talk about that a lot. I did not know how much David Culley could affect this team Monday through Saturday and improving players and changing the way that players go about things so that they get better. I have confidence that Lovie Smith will help players get better, and they're going to have at least 9 draft picks, it would seem, plus maybe some more with the Deshaun Watson trade and potentially Larry Tunsil trade and things of that nature. So it is a situation where I feel better than I did a year ago. Could I feel even better than I do now about Lovie Smith? Sure, but that's where the situation is right now. Lovie Smith's the coach, and I feel better than a year ago when David Culley and his 2 sentences on Wikipedia were the head coach of the Houston Texans.
I mean, the bar was so low, right? Like, we're comparing this situation to David Culley and Josh McCown. So Lovie Smith, because he's got the experience, because he's got a decent track record during his time as his NFL head coach, he feels like a massive win compared to what was here and compared to what could have been here.
And I guess the other big takeaway would be Nick Caserio spoke about trying to win. Cal McNair made it clear in his statements and even when he was talking to the media earlier today that he wants to get back to winning. Like, we can make fun of the Texans for how bad they've been the last couple of years and how they've been run. But even with Bill O'Brien here, this team won games. Like, this team was routinely in the playoffs. You could say 9-7, bad division, but you'd rather be that than be 4-13 and having no clear path to getting better. So I think there was an emphasis on winning, which brings up the question, is Lovie Smith here for a couple of years, maybe longer, or is he just another bridge guy, right? Is Lovie Smith still the bridge coach? Based on their comments, you get the sense that they feel like 63-year-old Lovie Smith has a chance to be here for a number of years and maybe be the coach when this team finally turns it around. Like, it didn't feel like they were setting things up for Lovie to be here for a year or two and then leave. Based on their comments, we got to hold them to what they say to us in public. They felt like Lovie Smith is the guy that could help them get back to the playoffs and get back to actually competing for a Super Bowl one day.
I don't have any more long-term clarity than I did yesterday about my prediction or thought of where the Texans can go under Lovie Smith, but I do feel better about 2022 alone when I think about this team and I really put it into context where they could improve, where they already have improved as a team and as an organization. But I still don't know if Lovie Smith is here for 2 years. If he's successful, can he be here for as long as he wants to be here?
He's here longer than one. That I feel like we pretty much know at this point.
Is he preparing a situation where someone from his staff succeeds him? If he's having success and he wants to call it a career, can he turn it over to Pep Hamilton if he's around that long? Or can he turn it over to his son if his son becomes an impressive defensive coordinator in this league, potentially for this team? So I just still don't have long-term clarity, but I can't worry about 2023 and 2024 and 2025 till we get through 2022.
I want to see the contract. We're not going to see the full contract. I just want to see how long the contract is.
Just try and zoom in on Twitter. They tweeted out a picture of Lovie signing his contract.
Can you see it?
And you can kind of see it. You might have to really put on the glasses and zoom in.
What does it say?
I don't have good eyesight.
Okay, you didn't put on the glasses and zoom in. I mean, I'm just curious. Like,
I zoomed in without the glasses.
David Culley got 5 years. We knew he wasn't going to be here for 5 years. I don't think Lovie Smith's contract is going to be 5 years. Like, most head coaches get at least 4 years on their head coaching contracts. I don't know if Lovie Smith is even going to get that. I don't know if he wants that. So I think that could be a little telling for how long Lovie Smith is going to be here, or at least how long the Texans plan on having Lovie Smith here.
Well, standard contract's like 4 years, though, at least. So I'm sure he got at least that. If David Culley got a 5-year deal, you have to imagine Lovie Smith, who had leverage after they panicked and went to him in the first place, was able to get at least a 4-year commitment.
Well, let's see if Josh McCown ends up on the staff. Then we'll figure out how long Lovie Smith is here if Josh McCown's on the staff.
We'll talk more about that coming up because Caserio was asked about Josh McCown, and Lovie Smith was also asked about Josh McCown. So we'll talk about the McCown factor influencing this coaching search when we come back.